is sponsored by Born to Ride Motorcycle Magazine. Check out borntoride.com. Alright guys, we're back over here in the shop and working on it again today. So Pop's got the throttle cable in here. It's all connected and hooked up now. Added a spring in, so that's going to pull directly back there. Got most of that mounted. We're going to finish tightening everything up, so at least the throttle's back in place. And then working on a few other things. Still have to reinstall those. Those are our support holders to go in here. Just got to put those back on. Still got to mount the coil up. So I talked about that a little bit the other day. This is the coil mount, and it's really made for a 6-volt coil or some of the smaller ones. We've been slowly grinding out the inside, trying to make this huge MSD coil fit in there so we can hide it. And our Husky little grinder thing here has died on us. It won't do anything. I guess the piston little motor in there is gone. So we're gonna have to do something else. But got to finish grinding that out, get it mounted, a few other things. And then guess what? The day we wanted to drive it, everything is wet and nasty, and it's supposed to be a tropical storm or something coming through. It's going to be this way for days, so I'm really hoping it dries up a little bit today, and then we get this done enough to maybe synchronize the carbs and maybe drive it a little bit, but we'll see. All right guys, so now gotten a few things buttoned up. Got radiator cap cover there and the coil cover both mounted. Kind of cleans it up a bit, gets rid of the modern looking cap there and the modern looking coil. Makes it look a lot better. Still a nice clean firewall. All that looks good. So right now I've got the vacuum advance just plugged off with a bolt in there now. So we're gonna fire it up. We're gonna try to get it timed in a little better. So I'm gonna get the timing light out. We're gonna check this, get it set. Probably, 14 or so. Initial timing should be fine. We'll see how that does, so, and go from there. All right, guys. So I have synced the carburetor, got the linkages all kind of played out. Get the sync tool on there. Got them all set in close to the same, so that should work for us. Did the front barrel on each carburetor. Made sure all of those are right. Got them all done in with our idle screws, everything. And it's running pretty good. Got the timing set at a little over 13, almost 14. So that's set. And it's actually camming some again now. Here it's hitting just a little bit more now. So it seems to be liking that pretty good. It's got a little bit more of a hit to it again, and it's running smooth and revving right up off of idle. Now my idle screws are set at 1 3/4, which is too far open. It's good enough. I mean, it's running fine for idle. When I get going down the road, it's probably going to be unhappy around 2 to 3 grand. So it needs some bigger idle jets in it. So I'll end up switching those out. Probably putting, I think these are 50 or 55s in here. I'll probably put 65 or 70. So look at that. Add some bigger idle jets to it. Retune all the idle screws, and then see where we're at on that. But I'm at least going to go try it down the road now to see how that works. actually rides out real smooth. And it definitely has a little bit of a bog if you stomp it bottom end. Like I said, those idles are too small. So those are on the same progression circuit. So it's fine for idling, but as soon as you try to get into the progression circuit to get into the mains, then it starts running kind of lean and not liking it. But when you get past that, this thing screams big time. Woo. Bring her down, bring her down, bring her down. Yeah, this thing pulls hard. It actually, because the Terminator, I was still messing around with it and trying to get it as good as I could get it. And the Terminator, I finally got it actually running okay, but it never was perfect on this thing because they really need lots of driving. Back the carburetor on this thing. Hang on. I really need two hands. Yeah, this is it. Like, this is exactly what this thing needed. It's like running smooth as can be. You step into it and you hear all the IDFs going, whoa, and they just gotta get that growl sound coming out. This is exactly what this thing needed. So I cannot wait to get the idle jets in here, beep it up. I mean, it's running and drivable now. If you get into it real easy, it doesn't even have a problem. But if you try to get it a little too hard at the beginning, it acts a little goofy. It don't like it. So see right there, whoa, and it jumped up. So it's acts a little strange, but overall it's doing pretty dang good. So it did not take much for these carburetors. And these are those EMPI carburetors, and I want to say again, I thank them so much for sending me these, and Pierce Manifolds for sending me this intake manifold. And I could not have done all this without them for sure. And these carburetors, I mean, EMPI is doing them right. I mean, they are smooth and slick on the inside and outside. Everything was right on them. Everything was right on the money. I mean, they were perfect right out of the box. I mean, all I do is a little bit of adjustment here and there. They are the way to go. Whether you're hot rodding or you're throwing them on a Fiat or you're putting them on a V-dub, these things are awesome. I mean, whoa, golly. I came up from it. So every time you get on it real hard, the front end gets really light. So luckily, it's just been raining and it finally dried out a little bit enough to not feel too bad about driving it. But when it's real dry and the tires are hot, this thing gets sticky. It will literally pick the front tires up enough to where you don't have steering. I mean, it gets pretty wild. So well, that's it, guys. I wanted to get this far, get enough, be able to get a drive in. I wanted to show you a little bit of that. And now I'm just going to enjoy it. Appreciate it.